This is Vishen with Finer Minds. Have you ever noticed that every now and then you have certain days where everything in your life just seems to go so well for you? Well, over the last 7 years, I started to notice that I would have these peak days where everything that I needed would happen almost effortlessly in business, in life, in relationships. And I'd also have other days where things would just be a bit of a struggle. And so over time, I started studying what made certain days so good, certain days mediocre or bad. And I tried to understand what mindset shifts I was going through in between these days. I also noticed that in my study of personal growth, a lot of people talked about these states. Tony Robbins calls it being in a peak state. Esther Hicks calls it being in a state of allowing. Jose Silva called it a state of expectancy. Arjuna Ada called it a state of awakening. I call it a state of flow. And I found that when I'm in these state of flows, amazing things happen. My life seems to move effortlessly towards my goals. So what I'm going to show you next is a presentation I did where I break down the 4 different states of mind and the 2 ingredients you need to bring into your life and keep it balanced to keep you in a state of flow. The speech you're about to see was filmed at Engage Today. It was the personal development seminar of the decade. I had the pleasure of sharing the stage with the likes of the Dalai Lama, with Sir Richard Branson, Sean Stevenson, and President F.W. de Klerk. The presentation you're about to see is where I'm going to talk about the state of flow. It was voted one of the top 3 best presentations at Engage Today 2009. Check it out. So what is the ideal state? It's a state of flow. It's where you're happy in the present, but you have grand visions of the future. Now let's do an honest gut check right now. How many of you here would say that currently you're in a state of flow? That means you love your current job, you're happy right now, and you have amazing dreams of the future. Good, a large chunk of you. How many of you here would say that you're in a state of stress and anxiety? That means you have amazing goals, but you aren't really sure if you're going to get to these goals. And so you feel that certain amount of stress or pain. Quite a large chunk of you too. So what happened to me was that I moved from stress and anxiety to flow. I was in flow in my early days when my only intention was to play this little game and see how much free coffee I could get. And then when I started a real business, all that stress and anxiety came with it, and that baggage weighed me down. When I attended that seminar and saw Rob Riopol and Harv Eker talk on stage, that set me on a different path. I started studying the works of Esther Hicks, Neil Donald Walsh. I put away the marketing books. I studied books on spirituality. And my mindset changed, and my business exploded as a result. So this is basically what it looks like. Negative spiral, current reality, stress, flow. The goal is to keep yourself in that state of flow. Now here's something interesting. Remember the movie The Secret? If you've seen The Secret, raise your hand. It doesn't matter if you liked it. In The Secret, Bob Proctor offers this equation. Thought plus emotion equal attraction. Now if you think about that, that's really similar to the definition for the state of flow. Thoughts are your visions of the future, the thoughts of who you want to be, what you want to attract into your life. Emotions are your feelings of what's going on in your life right now. In other words, it's the exact same equation. So whether the state of flow is what scientists call it, being in a state of supreme creativity, or whether it's something more mystical, as Bob Proctor calls it, the state where you attract the law of attraction, it doesn't matter. The fact is, being in that state of flow magnifies the impact of whatever you do. And when you're able to consciously put yourself in this state, it's almost as if the universe bends in your favor. Now, there's something very important which I want you guys to realize, and it's called the paradox of intention. You must have goals, but your happiness cannot be tied to these goals. So you can have these big, crazy dreams of where you want your life to be, but you will accelerate towards those dreams faster if you're happy in the now, if you're content. In other words, the happiness comes from the journey, not the destination. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? So I want to go back to what Tony Sia said yesterday. Notice when flow happens and change your life to make it happen more often. And that's really the message I wanted to share with you guys. Notice the moments when you are in flow and make a conscious effort to bring yourself back to flow. So I call the practice of keeping yourself in flow blisscipline. And to me, it's the single most important thing I practice every day. It's the discipline of keeping yourself happy. Blisscipline. And what I'm going to talk about in this presentation is how to take Blisscipline and how to actually turn it into an art form that you can apply to your team, to your company, to your organization, or to your nonprofit. You guys like the idea of that? So I want to share a quote. Janet said this a few hours ago. Your passions are breadcrumbs that lead you on the path to your destiny. So let me say this. The problem with most of us is we forget the importance of being in that state of flow. So lean forward. I'm going to tell you a secret. Put your hand on your ear. You see, large chunks of humanity right now are trapped in jobs or careers that they absolutely hate. They wake up every morning dreading going to work. I've been there. Now, if you're in a job or a career, or even if it's your own company, and you do not enjoy what you do, you can never be in a state of flow. Because the joy, the emotions, the happiness in the present, they aren't going to come to you. And because of that, you're wasting your time. I'm serious. You can never magnify your impact. You can have those great visions, but if the happiness isn't there, your impact is lost. So, the big secret is, if you are in a career or a job, or if you're in your own business and you don't truly enjoy what you do, get out. I'm serious. A member of the audience shared this with me yesterday over dinner. He said, his name was David Morelli, he was here a few days ago. He said, Vishen, sometimes you got to destroy your life to let the next great thing happen. And that's what many people have to do. You have to be in a career or business that you're passionate about. Though I learned that the hard way. So let's say, I grew up in an Indian family. So in the 1990s, I was pushed to become a computer engineer. Why? Because Bill Gates was a computer engineer, and he was the richest damn man on the planet. But I hated computer engineering. I got C's all throughout college. I even got a job at Microsoft. I quit after 11 weeks. Actually, I got myself fired because I just could not be in that environment. So I ended up working for a nonprofit, living just below the poverty line. Then I became a meditation instructor, and I was basically earning breadcrumbs. But I loved what I did. And from that tiny business, teaching people meditation in New York, I built a multi-million-dollar company with 50 people. Nobody thought it could be done. My ex-school lecturers, my friends, my family thought I was nuts. But the thing is, they forgot that when you love what you're doing and you have big dreams, you're in that state of flow, and your impact is amazing. And so